Hi, welcome back. My name is Jay Oza. I teach, mentor, and coach people on public speaking so that they can get winning high stakes speeches, whether it's for a job interview, a business or a sales meeting, or even at a conference in front of a lot of people. And soon I'll be an author of a book that I'm going to be publishing hopefully around the end of September. It's titled Winning Speech Moments: How to Achieve Your Objective with Anyone, Anytime, Anywhere. So as you can tell, this is about giving high stakes speeches, just what I do for a living, that is teaching, mentoring, and coaching. So I've decided to write a book on it. With this video, I'm starting an education series. And the reason I decided to do this is because there's so much information and advice given out on this one topic that just simply doesn't work, and it can even do more harm. So I thought I would rather give you my take on it from observation, from seeing what my children are doing, talking to other people, and what I'm doing personally to educate myself. And education is something that just doesn't happen when you're young anymore. It happens as long as you're alive. So education affects everybody. Okay, it's like taxes. You are going to be educating yourself, otherwise you're going to be irrelevant. Okay, to put it bluntly. So with this one, I'm going to start with one of the most controversial things on education: SAT test. You all know about that. And this is the one that really stresses out parents when their children start high school. They spend ridiculous amount of money to boost their kids' score up on SAT. And I'm currently dealing with that with my son. He just finished his freshman year. He's starting his sophomore year. And we're like, his SAT scores we all would like it to come up. Now, personally, I didn't do well on SAT. I got 1,000. Okay. So if anybody out there is wondering, like, hey, is there a life if you get a low score? Yes, there is. Just look at me, or maybe not, depending on your what you think of me. But I never liked that test. I didn't even prepare for that test. I just took it, and I said, whatever happens, happens. If I get in with that score, fine. If not, then I'll go to community college. And in my case, I got into Rutgers University. Yeah, Rutgers. And that's the only place I applied. They accepted me. I went there, and that's it. I didn't even go to any orientation or anything. My first day at Rutgers was the first day of school. So, but today that's not the case. SAT has caused so much stress among parents, and I can sense it. Uh, my wife and I took our son to this outfit that's supposed to help you prepare for an SAT, and they gave him a test, and as usual, he didn't do well. So we had a meeting with them, and they said, "Oh, look at this! He didn't do well here, like that." It's very impressive. It's like they give you this particular to analyze all the scores, and my wife is like, "Oh, we got to put him in there. We got to start him right away. We got to start him in this program right away." And I said, "Honey, let's calm down. Let's look at this and look at it." I said, "First, our kid has to be motivated. Okay, is he gonna put in the hours that's required for a test?" And okay, so they said that it would take him 100 hours, and that may help his score up maybe by 50 points, perhaps 50 to 100 points. And the cost of it, 100 hours, is about $8,000. Okay, so that's the cost. And of course, I'm just listening. I just want to find out what the whole program and all that is. So at home, we come home, and I'm thinking about it. My wife is completely convinced that my son needs to go there, but I'm not sold. I said, look, first, I need to see whether he's committed. Second is, let's take a bigger picture. Let's say he doesn't do anything. He's only starting his sophomore year. I'm sure he's going to improve his score, and he'll probably get close to between, let's say, 1,100 and 1,200. Let's say the worst case scenario. And I'm being reasonable. I think that's a good score, in my opinion. There are kids out there who do 1,500, 1,600, which is fine if they want to go to Harvard and stuff. I mean, forget about Harvard and those are just, they take kids that are just like way out there, and we're not even trying to worry about that. Not that my son can't do the Harvard, but to get into Harvard requires so much effort that I don't want to put in that kind of effort. Okay, I don't want to send him to different places all around the world, and you got to have a Nobel Prize to get into Harvard, and my son isn't going to get any Nobel Prize. So I gave him two options. I said, option A, okay, this is option A, okay, we spend $8,000. On top of it, this is to improve your score. You spend at least 1,000 to 1,500 hours preparing for the test, and you do well, and you get into college. Now you get the privilege of spending another $200,000, so you end up with a degree. That's option A. Option B, I said, is another option that you need to consider. I'll spend $8,000 and send you to a coding boot camp where you spend another 1,000 hours and really learn and master coding, where you can end up getting a job even before you even get to college and earn $85,000. You learn more than the people that are teaching you to do well on an SAT test. Which option is the one you're going to pick? And that's the kind of, I was kind of being flippant about it, but then I thought of it like, maybe that is not that crazy idea. That does make a lot of sense. That an SAT preparation test where you spend $8,000, that's the amount you're spending, okay? That's 100 hours where there's one-on-one interaction. On top of it, you're going to have to spend at least 10 times the hours you put in. So let's say 100 hours, you're talking about at least minimum 1,000 hours that my son would have to go through all sorts of tests, purchase books, and do those exercises to the point he gets totally bored or dejected, just to improve his score maybe by 50 to 100 points at most. Okay, so that's that one option. And then the other one is like, hey, why not go into like coding, learn some real tangible skills that is really people out there. Not that he's not going to take the SAT, but he's not going to spend time trying to improve his score. He'll take it and maybe get a 1,100 or maybe 1,200 at the best. Between let's say between 1,000 and 1,200. I'll take it. He'll get into maybe a community college. But if he has this tangible skill that somebody's willing to pay him $85,000, and let's face it, if you got a coding skills and you put in 1,500 hours before you even graduate from high school, that is valuable in the market. That 1,500 hours to improve your score by 100 points on SAT, all that does is you get the privilege of spending another $200,000. So you end up with a degree. And I said, that option B doesn't look that bad. So I just wanted to kind of, share it with you. Which option would you pick? Option A, $8,000 plus 1,500 hours so that you can spend another $200,000 and you'll end up with a bachelor's in something degree. Maybe from a good university, let's say. Or option B, where you spend $8,000 to go to some coding academy, learn some real tangible skills, then spend another 1,000 to 1,500 hours, and maybe spend more, maybe buying a computer, doing something on the cloud, writing an app, or doing, or maybe even starting a small business. So let's even double that. Let's make it, you end up spending over $12,000 to $15,000, okay? But at the end, you will have enough skill to get a job that pays $85,000. I know that because I've seen people get that. Which one is a better option? And then you can go to college. Maybe you can go to community college. Maybe you can go to a low-tier state college. What's wrong with that? You have a skill. That's what people want today. And you'll still get education, but you won't have to spend this ridiculous amount of time trying to master something that all that does is so that you can spend more money in the future just to get a degree. So I like the option B. And I'm trying to convince my son, pick option B. Option B. I will even borrow money for that. Option A is just not that attractive to me, especially today where you can learn anything you want online. Maybe people will learn something from watching this video. But if you're a parent, I want you to think about this before you go out and dump another $8,000 to $10,000 on an SAT, and then your kid has to then work at it for another 1,000 hours. But they can, 1,000 hours learning a coding skill is really, really important today. Why spend time on a test where you can spend on developing a skill? Which is more important? So I wanted to start this series off on a real controversial note because this is as controversial as it gets. Should you spend time and money on the SAT test, or should you spend that amount of time developing coding skills? Let me know what you think. Which one would you pick if you had to? advise your son, daughter, or any other relatives, or even friend's son. Thank you for watching, and good luck.